What's up, my comic comrades? Comic book fans know that one of the best aspects of the Joker is the mystery surrounding his origin. For a long time, the Joker's origin was completely unknown. That is until Geoff Johns and Jason Fabok's 3 Joker storyline made the Killing Joke canon, at least for now. And I say for now because we're in the middle of another Crisis event that looks to reshape the DC universe yet again. So we'll see what things look like after the current Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth story, which is being spearheaded by writer Josh Williamson. Then, on top of the Joker's origin being made canon, recently in Flashpoint Beyond issue 5, the Joker's real name was revealed. Yes, after decades of the Joker's true identity being a complete mystery to everyone but Batman, Geoff Johns and DC have finally revealed the secret. For me personally, I have mixed feelings about it, but I'll get into that later. Before we tell you what his real name is, however, let's review the long road that led to it, including some other alleged names that were possibilities along the way. The first dive into discovering the Joker's name started back in issue 42 of the 2011 Justice League title when Batman took possession of the Mobius chair. For those of you who don't know, the Mobius chair contains the knowledge of the universe. It knows everything. So when Batman sat in it, he wanted to test its knowledge, so he asked, "Who killed my parents?" And it answered saying, "Joe Chill." Batman responds, "Yes, Joe Chill, that's right." He then asks his next question, "What's the Joker's true name?" But then Batman sits up surprised saying, "No, that's not possible." Then in issue 50 of the same series, towards the end of the book, we see Hal Jordan talking to Batman in the Batcave saying, "I heard you ask the chair what's the Joker's real name. I heard it answer you, and I heard you say that's impossible. Why?" Batman just says, "It doesn't matter." Hal responds, "It does, Bruce. Did it give you a name? Someone you know?" And Batman answers, "It didn't give me a name. It said there were 3. Hal Jordan asks, Three Jokers? What the hell does that mean?" And Batman tells him, "I don't know yet, but I'm gonna find out." This would ultimately lead us to the 3 Jokers story written by Geoff Johns. We actually covered the entire 3-issue miniseries in these videos right here. So if you want an overview of the whole story, go ahead and watch those. As for right now, we're only gonna talk about the ending of that series since that's all that's relevant for today's video. On the final pages of the 3 Jokers story, Alfred's talking to Bruce about the Joker, saying, "I wonder if you'll ever figure out who he really is." Bruce answers, "Not to sound like people think I do, Alfred, but I'm Batman. I knew the Joker's name 1 week after we first met." And Alfred just says, "What?" with a shocked look on his face as we learn that the Joker's pregnant wife from the Killing Joke never actually died. Instead, she sought out help from the police, telling them, "He'll never let me leave. And my child, I can't bear to think what he'll do to the baby." We also see that the panel from the Killing Joke where Joker freaks out on her wasn't just a one-time instance. He apparently snapped at her a lot, so much so she sought help to get away from him. The police tell her, "It's okay, lady, the boys pulled together some money. We'll help you however we can." So the cops lied to the man who would become the Joker, saying, "I'm sorry, but your wife had an accident this morning, apparently testing a baby bottle heater. There was an electrical short and she died. I'm sorry." So the Joker has a wife and child out there that he doesn't know about, which is a revelation by itself. Pretty crazy. Bruce goes on to tell Alfred, "No one could ever know his name, Alfred, because if the world knows it, his family will never be left alone. The press will find them. The Joker will find them. Yes, I know his name, but the Joker's name isn't what's important. It never has been." As we see Bruce pass by the Joker's wife and child's house, making sure they're okay. But more importantly, he knows the Joker's name and has known everything about the Joker since a week after their first encounter. He knows about his wife, about his kid, and he knows his name, but he won't even tell Alfred, as he says keeping the wife and child safe is more important than people knowing his name. But just because Bruce won't tell us his name doesn't mean there haven't been ideas and theories of what his name could be. One of the non-canon and widely accepted names he's had over the years throughout all forms of media is Jack Napier, which actually turned out to be wrong. The best example and use of this name would be in Sean Murphy's White Knight universe, where we are introduced to a reformed Joker and we learn his true identity is Jack Napier, which is obviously pulled from Tim Burton and Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker, as the person who became the Joker in the Tim Burton verse was a thug named Jack Napier, portrayed by Jack Nicholson. The name is an amalgamation of Jack Nicholson and Alan Napier, who portrayed Alfred in the Batman 66 TV series. So they took Nicholson's first name and Alan's last name, giving us Jack Napier. Essentially, the White Knight universe took the name Tim Burton gave his Joker and brought it into the comics, which I think was really clever, especially since Jack Napier had become kind of the first go-to name when anyone asked what the Joker's real name was. Actually, ever since Tim Burton decided to use the name Jack Napier for the Joker, that name has been used several times as the Joker's possible real name in different forms of media. And while we're on the topic of the Joker, with the release of the Snyder cut of Justice League, we got to see Zack Snyder's true vision for his Joker. And the awesome people at Weta Workshop captured just how terrifying he turned out to be with their limited edition 1/4 scale statue, which they were kind enough to send over to us. The sculpt on this limited edition polystone statue by master clay artist Daniel Cockersell is just ridiculously lifelike. It portrays the Joker in Snyder's Apocalypse Nightmare scene, and they even worked with Zack Snyder himself to get it exactly right. It's pretty nuts. The piece comes with swappable Batman cowl, crowbar, and gun, and even includes a detachable token of truce Joker card made with real paper. The Joker statue is limited to only 600 pieces, and Weta has created a special coupon code for members of the variant audience who want to grab one of these for your collection. Just enter the coupon code TheJoker20 at checkout and they'll take 20% off your purchase of the Joker statue. But the offer will only last until October 31st or until it sells out, which in our experience won't be long, so jump on it right away. Either way, you better believe this bad boy will be finding a home on the variant set. But Weta Workshop produces a ton of other great collectibles as well, like this Polystone 1/6 scale Beat the Gelfling statue based on Jim Henson's Dark Crystal. This statue was digitally sculpted by veteran Weta Workshop artist Steven Saunders, using scans of the original puppet that was seen on screen. One of the coolest aspects of this collectible are the translucent resin wings that give it such a dynamic feel. Not to mention the base also features amazing designs from the world of Dark Crystal. Both of these statues are freaking awesome and available at Weta's website right now. And for those of you snatching up one of the Joker statues, don't forget to use our special coupon code TheJoker20 to get 20% off that item only. Just click our link for Weta Workshop in the description below and add them to your collection. The White Knight universe was the second place Joker's real name was referred to as Jack Napier after the '89 Batman film. The first being the fan-loved Batman the Animated Series. In the Batman Animated Series episode Dreams in Darkness, when Dr. Bartholomew is listing the real names of some of Batman's rogues gallery, he refers to Jack Napier as the Joker. The Joker is also referred to as Jack Napier again in the episode Joker's Wild, where it's written in a dossier. Then in the 1993 Batman Mask of the Phantasm film, we see Jack Napier, aka the Joker, before he became the Joker. I'll never forget seeing that for the first time. It was kind of surreal getting a chance to see what the Joker looked like before he became the Joker in the BTAS universe. So basically, since you have two of the most iconic Batman franchises ever, Tim Burton's Batman movies and Batman the Animated Series, referring to Joker's real name as Jack Napier, along with the highly successful comic series The White Knight, it was pretty widely accepted that the closest thing we had to the Joker's real name was obviously Jack Napier. It's really cool that we have that name for the movies, cartoon series, and even alternate reality comic book series, but that's not the only non-canon name we've been given for the Joker. Besides Jack Napier, the recent TV series Gotham had its own take on the Joker's origin, giving us two Jokers that had grown up as twins in the circus, and giving them the names Jerome and Jeremiah Valeska. Yes, I know, growing up in the circus, very similar to Dick Grayson, but we learned that the one twin, Jeremiah, was essentially normal or good, while the other, Jerome, was pretty twisted, thriving in violence. Eventually, Jerome wanted his brother to be just like him, poisoning Jeremiah with a special toxin that turned him completely nuts, which gave us two different types of the Joker within the same series. Whether you like the Gotham TV series or not, I will say it was at least interesting to see their take on the Joker. I personally found Gotham entertaining at times, but overall, not my cup of tea. Moving on to a more current and newer name for the man who would become the Joker, we have Arthur Fleck, which comes from Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix's take on the villain in the Joker solo movie. At first, it's believed that Arthur Fleck is actually the long-lost son of Thomas Wayne, but we soon learn that's not the case, as Arthur's mom is insane and made it all up. Either way, Arthur Fleck is another name for the man that would become the Joker, specifically the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. But now it's time to get into Flashpoint Beyond issue 5, the comic that finally gives us the name for the main DC Comics timeline Joker. And get this, the person who tells us his name is Martha Wayne Joker from the Flashpoint timeline. In the issue, Thomas Wayne Batman tells Martha, "This isn't just about us. You died." And she replies, "When are you talking about? When we last saw each other, or 30 years ago in Crime Alley?" I've been wondering about that myself, ever since the man with the golden mask was talking about Bruce. I heard him while I hid within these walls. I made him tell me everything before I killed him. How this world was changed from what it should be. How Bruce became Batman, not you. And the Joker, can you imagine? The Joker was a man. His name is Jack Oswald White. Martha goes on to say, before the time travelers to be, Mr. White was the first one I went to see. In this world, Mr. White was a failed comedian with a wife and child, stuck in a menial job cleaning the bathrooms at Wayne Casino. Happier than we ever were, Thomas. I let them live. I even made sure Mr. White wasn't there when I destroyed your casino. There you have it, guys. The Joker's real name, Jack Oswald White. I kind of wish it was Jack Napier White, closer to the name we've all become accustomed to over the years, but I see why Johns and DC would want to detach from that. The main thing I'm curious about is his middle name, Oswald, as clearly all of us Batman fans are thinking Oswald Cobblepot or the Penguin. Kind of makes you think there's some connection here. But we'll have to wait and find out. But man, the more I think about it, the more I wish they didn't tell us the Joker's real name. And I thought Jeff Johns was going to keep it a secret after it was revealed that Batman already knew his name, but wasn't going to tell even Alfred. As a big part of what makes the Joker such a cool villain is the mystery to his past. Leaving it at Batman and the Joker's ex-wife as the only two who know would have been epic. The unknown is always cooler, kind of like a horror movie, how the monsters are usually way more terrifying before they actually show them. Also, confirming the Joker's origin is a little meh. I liked how the Killing Joke origin was widely accepted, but never confirmed. It left mystery and plausible deniability. Either way, I'm really curious to see where they go with this, because there's no way you reveal the Joker's real name without a long-term plan. But that just about wraps it up. The Joker's real name and several non-canon non-canon names he's gone by over the years. What do you guys think of the Joker's new official name, and do you think they should have given him a name? Let us know in the comments. First up, for the week of September 21st, we have Star Wars Darth Vader issue 27. The alliance between Darth Vader and Sabé has always seemed destined for disaster. After all, how long could the Dark Lord of the Sith and the idealistic handmaiden of Padme Amidala find common ground? Now we have Batman Superman World's Finest issue 7. The untold story of Superman's short-lived sidekick is at last revealed. But what secret connection to one of DC's most timeless tales does this story foreshadow? Here we have Gunslinger Spawn issue 12. Amy has been on Gunslinger's mind for a while now. He thought she was lost forever, but he now has a plan to save her, and it might mean making the ultimate sacrifice. Next up, we have Deceased War of the Undead Gods issue 2. The undead Darkseid begins his assault on the galaxy, attacking Korrigar first. Could the fate of the planet depend on the Yellow Lantern Corps teaming up with a Green Lantern? And finally, we have Judgment Day issue 5. Plain and simple, if you're not reading this, you need to be, as it's one of the best events Marvel has done in a long time. And that's gonna bring today's episode to a close, but if you enjoyed this video, check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, like, subscribe, and comment. It helps the channel grow. But other than that, I'll see you next time when I talk about all things comics.